When I was 14, around 14, both of my parents stood over me in a drunken stupor and agreed with each other for the first time that I've ever seen in my entire life. They were both on the same page, and that page was uh the act of pushing me over and telling me that I was going to be grounded unless I said the N-word. Not only say it, but call a black guy the N-word. They were pushing me over, bullying me like high school bullies, telling me, you're going to be grounded for the next week unless you say the N-word. Sometimes I just wake up with memories in my head and I have to share them. And it's hard because I'm currently living in their house right now. You know, I can't cause conflict with them. But my mother just told me. She just told me something and then she left for the week. She told me something and then went on her holiday, her vacation. She said that bus loads of illegal immigrants are coming into this country and stealing her benefits. She said illegal immigrants get housing and dental for free, and it's making her benefits go down. I asked, where are you getting this information from? Your benefits are going down? You're getting less because of so few people came into the country? She said, yes. 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 She also said that this town is becoming overrun with immigrants. Overrun with immigrants. And I would just like to present the statistic that this country is 97% white. Is there any other countries that are 97% white? That's high. Let me Google it right the fuck now. The Baltic countries? That makes sense. Belarus, Ukraine, Moldova. Iceland is 99 to 100% white. Wait a minute. This is from fucking Quora. Someone just said this on Quora. It's really complicated answer. It depends on what your perception of race is. 97% white, this country. Overrun with immigrants. I'm so sick of people's lives being torn apart by war and like famine, and then they have to leave their country to survive. And then their houses are being set on fire by white people because they think they're the victim because they have to live next to someone who's not white or not born in this country. You're not the victim because you have to live in an area where there's a few non-white people. They don't speak English, so I'm the victim because I have to listen to it. I'm just really mad. I'm just really mad today. And I actually, whenever I get kind of mad about things like this, I start writing. I go through news articles I got Al Jazeera. I got some facts from the BBC and I got some facts from the Guardian. And I started writing it down, and I'm gonna fucking present these, alright? This is fucking Al Jazeera. This is a fucking thing from 13th of June 2025. Northern Ireland. 40 police officers were injured in the anti-immigration riots, and 15 arrests were made. All white people. In Ballymena, hundreds of Masked rioters attacked police and set buildings and cars on fire. Rocks, petrol bombs, fireworks were thrown at police because they were upset about that 4% migration. 4%, 3.4% ethnic minority living in this country. They're upset by that. They're upset with the what 1% of migrants that year. I'm so confused about these numbers. Following the unrest, some immigrant families were allowed to seek shelter in a leisure centre in Larne. The rioters then set the leisure centre on fire. People were putting "Locals live here" signs on their windows so they wouldn't get attacked. Don't worry, we're white. Committee on the Administration of Justice, the CAJ. Notice the riots were all being held in areas where there is a significant loyalist activity. Who would have guessed? Who would have guessed the fucking loyalists were fucking rioting? And were featuring a degree of paramilitary control. Riots took place in summer alongside loyalist marching season. Since 2015, more than 1,800 Syrian refugees have been settled in Northern Ireland via the Vulnerable Persons Relocation Scheme. 1,800 Syrian refugees. Northern Ireland is the least diverse part of the UK, 3.4% ethnic minority. In 2021 census data showed immigration to Northern Ireland is relatively low compared to everywhere else. A Life and Times survey in 2024 found that 94% of Northern Irish residents would be willing to accept a person from a minority ethnic group in their area. 94% of people in this survey said, yeah, I don't care. So why the fuck are there these fucking riots? I'd be willing to bet anything that the people in these riots were 50-year-olds, only 50-year-olds and their children. Only 50-year-olds and their teenage children. I doubt anyone aged 25 to 40 were anywhere in these riots. Because I feel like both those demographics are really stupid. I feel once white people turn 40, they should be shot. 50. Once white people turn 50, they should be shot. Life and Times. Yeah. 73 people died trying to cross the English Channel on small boats. Countries that hosted the most refugees in 2024 were Iran. In 2024, the countries that hosted the most refugees were Iran with 3.8 million, Turkey with 3.3 million, and Colombia with 2.9 million. Couldn't find the number for Northern Ireland, but actually no, I do have a number, don't I? I have a number somewhere. This is from BBC. 2022 figures show a net migration of 2,300 people. She claimed illegal immigrants, my mother, she claimed illegal immigrants are taking her government benefits. They're taking jobs and housing, and they're taking jobs and housing and her government benefits. The government is there to help people. That means like all people. Not just you. All people. That's what the government is for. What do you think the government was for? What do you think the government was for? What do you think fucking everyone should get help? Everyone should fucking get help from the fucking government, right? Fuck. It's a fucking good thing. Personally, I wish the government would give me free housing. Personally, I think that should be allowed. However, it's not allowed. Currently, unless you are a migrant, temporarily for like, I don't know, a week, you will be locked in a hotel room and then made homeless shortly after. It would be nice if we all got free housing, wouldn't it be? It would be fucking nice. It wouldn't be a problem. Fuck, it wouldn't be a problem. I mean, I would love free housing, personally. I'm on universal credit. Mine has gone up. It's gone up. I think because of inflation. I think it's completely unrelated, but mine has gone up. While waiting to find out if their asylum claim will be approved, this is from BBC, people will usually be given £49.18 a week. That's before they find out if their asylum claim will be approved. And during that time, they also get housed in hotels and they don't get to choose where they live. And then once their asylum claim is approved, they're allowed to be an asylum seeker. They're not allowed that housing anymore. I don't know if they still get the £49 a week. £49 a week. I get more than that. Just disproving the claim that they're getting everything free. This country is 97% white. Let me say that again. 2022 figures show a net migration of 2,300 people. Net immigration, I think I meant. I wrote this badly. Net immigration of 2,700 people from Northern Ireland to other parts of the UK. People leaving here going to other parts of the UK is 2,700 people. A refugee is a person who has been forced to leave their country due to war, persecution, or natural disaster. Refugees have a right to international protection. They have a right to international protection. It's not your local government's fault. They have a right to international protection. Okay, stop blaming your fucking neighbors. Stop blaming the refugees. Jesus, they have a right to international protection. If a person wants to stay in the UK as a refugee, they need to apply for asylum. In 2024, 2,248 asylum seekers were receiving support in Northern Ireland. Until they are granted asylum, the Home Office pays for their support. 300 asylum seekers are being housed in hotels. 300 asylum seekers are being housed in hotels. When was this? 2020. This was this year. When asylum is granted, they lose their right to be housed. They're just in there until some forms get signed, and then once the government acknowledges them, they're out in their fucking asses, okay? So chill. They're not stealing your houses. They're not fucking stealing your government benefits. They're temporarily being put in a fucking hotel room, and then they get kicked out, alright? And they get less money than you're ever gonna get. Than you could ever get. Refugees are not given priority for social housing because things like race are just not put on those forms. The number of racist incidents in 2023 to 24 exceeded those of a sectarian nature by 262. The number of racist incidents in Northern Ireland exceeded those of a sectarian nature by 262. Once again, you know that meme? Fuck, the meme is. It's true. And then The Guardian, this is from The Guardian, the 2021 census showed that very few of the new arrivals were asylum seekers. Northern Ireland scores better for housing, unemployment and poverty than the rest of the UK, but the worst education attainment rates in the UK and highest rates of economically inactive people.
You see over there?
Yeah.
That's my primary school.
That's where they fucked my head up at a young age, making me read books and all. And that's the real reason that I stole all this money. So you can tell that to the PSNI.
I'm economically inactive, and I was taught in high school that humans and dinosaurs lived together. I was taught in high school that humans and dinosaurs coexisted because it said so in the Bible. I went to a Protestant nursery school, a Protestant primary school, a Protestant high school, where I was taught hillbilly nonsense. And instead of learning numbers in primary school, we were coloring in sheets. We were coloring in sheets of fucking Moses, Bible imagery. Coloring in pages of the Bible, which I think is a complete fucking useless waste of time. It is a fucking useless waste of time. I know I'm stupid. I'm stupid. I'm uneducated hillbilly. I'm an uneducated hillbilly living in an uneducated... Actually, this town is fine. I love this town. There's like no violence ever. There's no violence ever. You can go outside, and it's because it's got a low population. I could just go outside at night, and there's nobody out there. There might be one person. "40 officers injured in anti-immigration riots. White on white crime." Where are these foreigners that you're so fucking upset about? Where are they? Where are they? Where are they? I go outside, I just see white people. I get off a plane in this country, and I know where I am because it's just white people. It's just white people. I get off a plane in any other country. There's a fucking noticeable diversity that's just not here, and yet people are still fucking upset. I couldn't find any statistics. I couldn't find any statistics online of Northern Ireland specifically when it comes to migrant crime. There's no statistics of that. Actually, let me look again. I'll look again. I just googled migrant crime in Northern Ireland, and everything that came up was attacks on migrant people. PSNI reported tens of thousands of migrant victims and witnesses to crime to immigration authorities. Hate crime investigation launched over migrant effigy bonfire. That's the same thing. Anti-migrant rioters in Northern Ireland set homes and then a refugee site ablaze. It's fucking... Racist crimes have increased in Northern Ireland. You're doing the crimes, bitch. A second night of anti-immigration riots in Northern Ireland. Anti-immigration violence continues in Northern Ireland town. Like... Stop being stupid. Stop being stupid. Stop it. Stop it. And you know what else? One of those little postcards came in the mail this morning. Well, fucking, I remember what party it was. It was a unionist party. And they wrote, it was like their like agenda, right? And on the back, it said that they're anti-woke. Anti-woke. They're against the woke agenda. How can you write something like that on your fucking... Like, that's your platform, anti-woke, but then they don't go into anything that even means. They don't talk about what the hell. Anti-woke? Woke just means that you're aware of politics. That's all that... It just means you're aware. You're anti-people being aware of politics as a politician. I would like for you to go more into what the hell you mean by you're anti-woke, you're anti-the woke agenda. They also said that they would help over 60s pensioners because migrants are taking their benefits, jobs, and housing. People are so fucking stupid. How are you allowed to be that stupid and run? How are you allowed to be that stupid and run for government? There should be an IQ test. There should be an IQ test. When I was in high school, a guy in my year in class who was, I knew since primary school, like I knew this guy since I knew him as, well, I knew of him and his family since I was like 9. And he moved in high school, he moved into this area where I live right now, this estate. And within the week, his house was burned down. attempted to be burnt down, and there were bricks thrown through his window and graffiti on his house because he wasn't born here. He wasn't born in this country, so his whole family got hate crimed and they had to move out. I don't know if he knew that I lived here because he was only here a week. I don't know if he saw me, but God, that's fucking. This is a residential neighborhood. I just don't think people should be raising their children in areas where violence like this goes on. What the fuck?